John Olivier here, your host of Serious and Silliness Outcast and Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. We have a great new sponsor, Jersey Alternative Medicine, Anti-Aging and Hormone Replacement Clinic. Just go to the website, njaltmeds.com. That's njaltmeds.com. Or you give them a call at 609-977-2981. So what do? They actually offer a variety of services like TRT replacement, medical weight loss, female sexual health, male sexual health, injectable peptides, anti-aging treatment. And this is all under the eyes of an actual physician. You fill out an intake form. You go over symptoms with a clinician, and they will customize medication that you could take. And the best part is it's prescribed by a physician, and it is delivered to your doorstep in all 50 states. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your home. That is njaltmeds.com, 609-977-2981. Go to Jersey Alternative Medicine now and get healthy. All right, Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. We have a great guest. So there is this part of the bodybuilding fitness world that I would say probably started Rich Piana. They're kind of the outcasts, the derelict, the vagabonds.
Legend, bro. Legend.
Yeah, the legends. Yeah, the guys that don't really fit well into bodybuilding, but they are there and they're there by force. And there's a few of them. And we got one that blew up on the scene some time ago. Joey Stax. What's up, Stax? What's happening, man?
What's up, baby? Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums it up, right? Like you got your bodybuilders, you got your fans, you got your YouTubers, and they got guys like you who you just don't quite fit, but you're fucking there and everybody knows you.
Yeah, man. You be aggressive, bro. You make yourself relevant in the fitness industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Obviously, everybody knows you at this point. But I want to this is your first time on, so I want to start from the beginning. Because you have some history. So let me know where you grew up and what your childhood was like and how you wound up in the spot you are in now.
Yeah, man. I grew up here in San Antonio, Texas. I've been living here my whole life. And I wouldn't say I had like a crazy upbringing, you know what I mean? Like the first, 10 years of my life were pretty normal. Mom, dad, brothers, sisters, hanging out with the family, doing things for the family. But, little did I know there was recreational drug use going on that turned out to, always what it does turn out to be, you know what I'm saying? And the recreational turned into a, weekly, workly habit and then turned into, basically fucking up the whole family. Oh. And, mom and dad split up when I was somewhere around 10 years old, 10 years old. And, yeah, it just kind of went downhill from there. You know what I mean? Single mom, bunch of kids. Me and my brothers were not giving her, any, I guess you'd say real help, maybe headache. You know what I mean? Just raising. We're in the streets, breaking into cars, breaking into houses, skipping school, just doing a bunch of heathen shit. And, joined the gang at a really young age, just committing crimes. And yeah, man. Yeah, I ended up going to prison at a very, very young age, man.
How many siblings do you have?
Right now, man, I'd have to start counting. Yeah, because we grew up. There was only four of us, and then my mom met my stepdad, who wasn't the greatest man. I always believe the man is the leader in a relationship, so he sets the tone most of the time in a relationship for the woman and his family. We didn't have that. You know what I mean? We had father figures who were still making little boy choices. You know what I mean? Doing dumb shit, drugs, and he brought 4 kids with him. So there was 8 kids total.
Holy shit.
And 2 adults who were still, making child mistakes and child choices. And yeah, man. So it was wild, bro. We grew up with the cool parents is what most people would call them. We had the cool parents, it's cool to do drugs as long as you did them at our house.
Yeah, it doesn't turn out so cool though, does it?
Nah, man, it's at the end, it's like, how the fuck could you let me do this? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Why did you try to stop me? And again, my mom, she did. my mom did the best she could, bro. That's all I can say about my mom, man.
Right.
She didn't have the support from a man that she needed, so she did the best she could, raising a bunch of wild ass kids.
Right.
And at the end of the day, man, I remember I made a phone call from jail, and this is when I got locked up on a 10-year sentence. At 17 years old, I made a call and I said, "Mom, you got to get me out of here." She said, "You made your bed, you sleep in it." And at the time, I was
She ain't
like,
wrong.
yeah, at the time, I was like, "You are fucked up," you know? Like, what the fuck, you know? Like, it didn't make no sense. But being 38 years old, a grown ass man, and knowing what I did, and, I knew right from wrong, whether I, said I had good parents or whether this or whether that, it's no excuse, right? No
Right.
excuses, no breaks. And my ass didn't get no break for my first heavy felony offense. I got 10 years, man.
Wow.
And,
It's
yeah,
what is your background? Are you Hispanic, Caucasian? What is it?
so I'm a mutt, man. I'm a
Uh,
little bit of everything. You know what I mean? So Hispanic, Native American, Polish. I think we got some Italian in there.
mm-hmm. See,
My
I knew I
family,
liked you, bro. I knew I liked you.
my dad's side's from the East Coast, so he grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Ah, okay.
and he came down here with my grandfather, who's Polish, and he's got some other nationality. He passed away when I was really really young from
Mm.
emphysema. But yeah, man, I'm a mutt, man. I grew up in
All right.
a Hispanic city in a very very black predominant neighborhood, and with my dad. And then whenever my dad would go to prison as a kid, I would get to go move back in with my mom. I always wanted to live with my dad, man. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was my hero, man. My dad, he was he was a wild motherfucker, man. I looked up to my dad. I wanted to be just like him, and boy, I was worse. I was
Yeah.
worse, I
You
turned
know
out to be.
what? You know what's funny is that even though we grew up across the country, I think it was something about that generation. I'm about 10 years older than you, but I'm gonna send you a video I did. I have another channel, and after this is over, I'm gonna send you a video I did about my father, where my other channel, I interview some former mafia guys, so on and so forth. There's one guy from my old neighborhood, and then we'll get back to you. I just want to quickly tell you that I'm gonna send you this video. There's one guy from my old neighborhood that was a made member of the Colombo crime family. And I remember talking to my brothers. My father's been dead for 20 years. And I remember talking to my brothers, and they said, okay. I said, listen, I'm going to have Larry Mazza on. And at first they didn't want me to have him on. And I was like, well, I'm having him on. That's it. It's so, because they were older than me. And they're like, okay, well, don't mention anything about daddy. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to talk about daddy.
Yeah.
About 2 years later, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm talking about my father. That's it." So, so I have him back on, and I confess who my father was and how he was involved and how he was a nut, just like the rest of them. So, for some reason, I don't know what it is. That generation, I think how old would have your dad been?
My dad's 64. He's still alive
Oh,
today.
he's a young man. Oh, okay. My father would have been 89. Oh, okay. So,
Yeah, he's 64 now, and my dad was wild, man, and he, like down here, it's Mexicans. We're Little
yeah,
Mexico, San Antonio, so
yeah,
not really any Italian crime families, but
yeah,
there is plenty of them.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I grew up in that life, man, of organized crime. Of my family members, my uncles, my dad, my dad was raided by the feds, the DEA, with me as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a wild life, man, but I loved it. I loved being with my dad. And I grew up crazy with my pops, but then he would go to prison and I'd go to like a small town where my mom moved.
Yeah.
And it was just not fit for me, man. I was from the city. I
Right.
was used to burglarizing houses and cars and having all this wide open room and, millions of people in the city. And then moved to a small country town of like 5,000 people. And I mean, I stood out like a sore thumb, man. And my brothers and stuff, they moved out there. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, we fucked that whole town up. We fucked that whole town up. I was like Ozzy Osbourne. I would go there and they would literally pull me over and they would escort me back out of the city with
Really?
no legal, they had no legal right to do it. But this city, they did whatever the fuck they want, man.
Yeah, back then it was
You know?
completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, this was in the early 90s. I got arrested and sentenced in 2003. And I did 3 years on that 10, and I got out, and I didn't learn any lessons, man. I joined a gang here in San Antonio called the San Antonio Horns.
Okay.
And it's probably the biggest gang here in San Antonio.
Okay.
And it's came from prison out to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be a prison gang. You leave in prison. When you get out, you get your head back on straight, and you get your life back together for your family, and all the positive things, right?
Right.
That's how it always turns out in the beginning. And that's how you recruit a bunch of motherfuckers, right? This is all positive. Well,
right.
A lot of us, including myself, being a youngster, I took that prison mentality and that gang life, and I brought it out here to the free world. You know what I mean? And I just didn't learn my lesson, man. And I tell people, it wasn't prison that changed me. It actually made me worse. Prison made me worse. It made me more angry. It made me have all types of friends that were in the same type of criminal mindset that I was. And all they were they were my homeboys. So we were ready to ride, and we were ready to die for each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's all bad choices. Not like ride or die. Let's go to work every day and make good choices.
Right.
Just ride or die. Let's go hit this lake, make this money. You know what I mean? Like.
So did you wind up back in prison, or when you got out?
Yeah, man. And so I got out. Again, I didn't last long. I started assaulting people. Went back to jail for assaulting somebody, a serious bodily injury. I did the guy dirty, man. But it was from before I went to prison, so I had to get it was like a retaliation thing. You know what I mean? And I went to prison, man. I was 4'11". I weighed 100 pounds.
Wow. How old were you?
17 years old, man.
Wow.
I was the smallest dude they've ever seen, besides a midget.
Yeah.
Go into prison. They were like, "What the fuck? This dude looks like a little kid."
Right.
And, yeah, man. I was tiny, and within 3 years, I had thousands of push-ups a day. I tell people I would do squat thrusts, push-ups, dips, pull-ups all day long, training like a fucking soldier, bro.
Right.
All day long. Because you can't look weak. You can't look weak in there.
Right,
so when you don't look weak is you always look ready. I was knocking out 150 push-ups in a set, doing 1,000, 2,000, just depending on what I was doing. Table push-ups, incline push-ups, inverted wall push-ups. I mean, your boy was a beast. I was about $165, $170, shredded, solid muscle.
Ah, good.
And I got out of there, man. I was fucking yoked, and I had a big head on my shoulders too, bro. I knew I had gotten pretty cock diesel. So when I got out, I was like, "What's up? Where's all those big bad motherfuckers that wanted to fuck with me when I was little JoJo?"
Right.
I came out. Anybody that ever gave me any problems, I was like, "What's up?" Because I had this prison gang big head. I was just. So, yeah, I went and, acted a fool. I ended up in jail in a few months, violated my probation, sat in there for an assault, got out. That was a misdemeanor. 9 months, I think I did. I got out, went back again for another assault, 6 months, got out. Then I think that assault was going to give me 15 years, and I ended up doing 6 months and got it dropped from an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon to a rehab. And in my defense, man, this dude was a big motherfucker, so I stabbed him with a broken bottle.
Damn.
On the top of his fucking head. This dude was huge, bro. Big. He looked like Vader. You remember that wrestler?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Big old red. He had like a red beard, and he had like a little bit of hair on his head. It was all red. And I remember this dude running at me full-fledged. He was an easy 350, 400-pound dude.
Wow.
Not like muscular, though. You know what I mean? Just a big old redneck.
Right.
Motherfucker. So he came at me, and I reacted, bro. I just stuck it, boom, boom. And I claimed that I was drunk because I had a really bad alcohol problem, man, because I couldn't smoke weed. I smoke weed. It's an anxiety thing. And I have a prescription for it and everything. It's for my anxiety and PTSD from being incarcerated for so long, man.
Yeah.
Just all the crazy shit. I got anxiety through the roof, bro. So,
I can only imagine. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, I went back to jail. I got it dropped to like a rehab, 40-day inpatient, 45-day outpatient, whatever, 45, 3-month program. and I moved to Austin, Texas with my brother. And he was like, man, I want to see you do good. He was
Right.
the only brother who made it. Like, out of all the kids, all of them are in the feds, meth addicts, just
Oh,
were, I mean, man, meth was like, it was the drug,
yeah. At that time, that was a drug of choice. Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it's still
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
but during the early 2000s,
It
it was.
wasn't my drug of choice. So me, man, I got incarcerated because I was dealing drugs at 17 years old. I wasn't a drug doer. I was a drug dealer.
Right.
So I was the guy that was like, oh, well, all these people are addicted to all this stuff. Let me just sell that stuff then. And, I'm not going to lie, man. I sold dope to my own brothers. I sold dope to anybody because
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
the dope dealer. That's what I did,
Right.
and yeah, that's how I got incarcerated for the 10-year sentence. I got arrested for delivery of controlled substances, ecstasy.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I
So
got
you did 3 years on that. You go
three
out.
on the 10 for the drugs. I got a couple fights. I told you about that. I
Right.
moved to Austin and I started doing good. I had a little bit of size on me. Me and my brother started bodybuilding. This is
Right.
when I this is when I first picked up bodybuilding. My brother, Chris, he tried to introduce something positive into my life to keep me out of the streets.
Right.
So we started this thing called the diet. And when we did the diet, it was, chicken breast, brown rice, veggies every 3 hours. And I was natty at the time. I wasn't running anything. And
Right.
so I was literally 165, 170. I got up to about 185 natty.
Really?
Eating clean. Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about shredded. I was a bouncer in Austin at multiple different clubs.
How tall were you by this point? Because you said you were at
I'm
17.
when I got out, when I was 20, almost 21, I was 5'7",
Oh,
5'6" and a half, 5'7".
oh, you
So
shot up. Okay.
I went from 4'11" to 5'7", 5'6" and a half, 5. I just say 5'7".
Right.
But yeah, I'm 5'6" and a half, 5'7" on a good day. But yeah, now I mean, like I was 185 and I was very consistent with training. I wasn't drinking. I was staying out of trouble, man. And I started training people on the side. And what I would do is I'd go to the strip clubs and I wouldn't drink anything but water or like a energy drink or something sugar free. And
Mm.
everybody would see me how I looked, and they'd be like, "Man, they wanted that physique. They wanted to look how I looked." Even the strippers were like, "Can you train me? I'm trying to get like
Yeah.
you." So I started training the strippers, and they had a pretty good amount of money. So I charged, 100 an hour.
Right.
Next thing you know, a stripper introduces me to this coke dealer, and I knew the dude, sold drugs, but I was staying out of trouble, man. I was being good. I wasn't trying to do that no more because I didn't want to go back to prison. I had
Right.
a lot of air and opportunity in front of me, but just not a lot of money.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So yeah, man, I started training this dude, and he was a big time dealer. And one day, we'd go train, and then we go eat at Hooters. We got some wings. He'd be like, "Hey, appreciate everything." He paid for the meal because he's just balling out of control.
Right.
He knew I went to prison. He knew I sold drugs. And, somewhere in there, he became a friend of mine. So it got to the point where he was like, "Hey, man, if you ever need me to hook you up, I'll front you. You know what I mean? And you just pay me back." And I'm like, nah. I said no for as long as I felt like I could, bro.
Right.
But then my job canned me because a 90-day probationary period. They said that I was the best. It was a supplement store. And I was their best employee because I actually looked like I worked out.
Right. Right.
So I was selling all the time. But the thing about this corporate company, I'm not going to say the name, they had a 90-day probationary period. And I lied on my application about having a criminal background. I thought I had gotten away with it. It'd been 89 days. I'm telling you, on the 90th day,
Right.
they let me go. They said,
Damn.
"Joey, I do not want to do this to you, man. You're my best employee, but you lied on your application, so I have no choice but to let you go." And man, I ain't gonna lie, man, that really shot down my spirits because here I am working 3 jobs at the time. I'm training people, I'm a bouncer, and I'm working at a supplement store at the same time. I'm bodybuilding. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. So what did I do? I tried my hardest to do training and bouncing, but there was just so much money in that bouncing nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
So I just picked up a ounce of coke from my friend, and I broke it all down into grams. I was the bouncer. I was the head bouncer in a club in Austin.
Right.
So if you needed anything, $40 a gram, 3 grams for 100. You get the discount. Man, I started making so much money in 1 week that I
Oh,
quit my job and I started working full time still at the clubs, just chilling. So I would just be posted up at the clubs I was a bouncer at, no longer a bouncer. And I would just slang all night long. And I'd come home almost every night with like, I don't know, man, 14, 15 grand.
Jesus
You know what I
Christ.
mean? A night.
That is difficult to say no to, man. That is really difficult to say no to.
It was, man. Me and my brother was so proud of me. I've been doing so good. You know what I mean? And I really let him down, but I didn't tell him I let him down. I didn't tell him about anything.
Yeah.
He thought I was still training. He thought I was still bouncing. And he thought I was still working at the supplement store.
Right.
And I was over here breaking up keys. You know what I mean?
Oh, oh,
And I'm literally going to the border and picking up 5 keys at a time and coming back with this guy who's now my boy because now I'm one of his top guys. And
right,
I'm
right, right.
and again, it's just, it's a fast life, man. I was living that fast life. And
Yeah.
just like that, man, after getting out of rehab, I remember it to the day I got out June 3rd, 2002. I mean, 2000 and June 3rd, 2008. Yeah, June 3rd,
Oh, wow.
2008, I got out and I got back in 1 day shy of a year, June 2nd, 2009. I went to prison.
Oh,
It
shit,
was
really?
1 day shy of a year. Like
Wow.
that's how quick all that blew up for me, man. I was living with my brother in a $1.2 million house in the Arboretum in Austin.
Right.
I mean, I was, like I said, I was living, man. I was on boats every weekend.
And how'd you
I was,
get pinched? How'd you wind up getting pinched that last time?
bro, just people can't keep their fucking mouth shut.
Oh,
Rat,
yeah.
and this dude got jammed up. He got caught up by the police, and you know, I trusted him. And when I went to go meet him, they had me surrounded, man. The
Oh,
task force jumped out of a van on me and put the guns on me. They did illegal search and procedures and all types of shit. But I got busted with 16 ounces all bagged up,
oh,
ounce for ounce. And they've been watching me. So it
oh,
wasn't like I
man.
could I could make anything up.
Yeah.
They had texts, they had conversations, they had people that I had dropped stuff off to. I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't notice anyone was following me or watching me until I got busted. Like I saw them following me, and I was like, man, I'm being followed right now. As I was driving, and I'm with some young girlfriend I had at the time. She was 18 years old.
Damn.
Never been in this type of lifestyle at all. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, I'm driving and I'm like, man, I'm nervous. I know I'm being followed by this black Cadillac DeVille. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
and I'm like, man, fuck this. So I exit, he keeps going. Well, when I exited, it wasn't only that car following, there was another one behind him
Oh, God.
that slowly exited too. And I didn't know that one was following me, right?
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when I get in there, I'm at a gas station, man. And I'm tripping. I'm like, man, you're being followed. You need to get rid of this stuff. I had all the drugs on me in the restroom above a fucking toilet. And I could have just flushed it all. When they came out, they would have had their dick in their hand. And they would
But
have been like, but I mean, dude, that's a lot of fucking money right there. But
yeah, no, man. I'm
for being
thinking the same thing.
paranoid, you know what I mean? And I got a good sixth sense. I should have followed my gut instinct because I
Yeah.
never do. When it comes to money, I never follow my gut instinct. I always just follow the money.
Right, 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 right.
And it ends up biting me in the fucking ass, man.
So
But
then you get pinched in 2009, and then what happens?
uh, shit, I'm ready to rock and roll back to prison, bro. I'm already knew what time it was, so I did
Oh,
what they called a fast track. I'm not even gonna fight with you. You busted me. I'm guilty. Now, what can you do if I don't waste your time? Give me the best deal I can do because I'm pleading no contest, no
right.
fight. I got jammed up. What can you do? So in 3 months, I got him down from 16 years to a 6 piece.
Really?
But yeah, I paid my lawyer 21,000.
Jesus.
Started 10 racks and then go up to 21. They're gonna get you a better deal. I'm like, Go take out whatever DA you got to take out.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
buy them a suit. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, because that's how the shit works, bro. It's like favors
Yeah.
for favors. DA knows this lawyer, and he's like, all right, so me and Stax are pretty cool. He always gives me badass Christmas gifts. So I'm going to go ahead and let his guy make it with the 6-piece, and we're going to fuck over this court-appointed client and give
Right.
him years. And that's just, you got to pay to play. And I
Right.
knew that because I had been a dope dealer for my whole damn life. So I had money saved up already going on retainer with the lawyer that I would meet, and he knew my occupation.
Mm-hmm.
The second I got jammed up, it was like, all right, Sam, you already know what time it is. Let's put all this money to work. I got a little bit more for you. You know what I mean? And it, I wouldn't say it worked out in my favor, but I knew a dude that got jammed up with like way less coke than me. He got 14 years.
Damn.
So, I was like, I didn't even want to tell him how much time I got. I'm like, you should have got a paid lawyer, bro.
Yeah, right.
You gotta pay, man. So I go down for a 6-piece. This time I'm already confirmed gang member. I've already, done time. I already know how it works. So the first thing I do when I get into this place is just, don't let anybody disrespect me. And then anytime, the homeboys ask for a favor, I got out there first, you know what I mean? Just to let people know that I wasn't playing. Because no matter what in Texas, I don't know how it is in any other state, but in Texas, you're never going to make your first parole. So you might as well, on your first parole, slap the shit out of somebody, get you a little respect. I'm not saying bully people, but someone's going to try to fuck with you.
Right.
So first thing you want to do is let everyone know. It doesn't matter if you're 4'11" or if you're 7 foot tall. If you're 80 years old or you're fucking 17 years old, you want to let everyone know you stand on fucking business. I don't care about getting my ass kicked because it doesn't matter. 2 people fight, 2 people are losing their parole. It doesn't matter if you were self-defense. It doesn't matter any of that. If you get punched, you are still losing your parole. Even if you don't fight back and you are in altercation, you are losing your parole.
Yeah, Texas don't play. Texas does not play.
If you get a fucking haircut that they don't like, you lose your parole.
Yeah.
It's called a major case. If you get a fucking tattoo, lose your parole. Let me just tell you, I lost a lot of my fucking You know what I'm saying? I didn't give a fuck about parole. I didn't care about parole, not the first time, not even the second time. Because I was ready. I was young, man. So I went in with this stupid mentality, like, fuck it. If I do the whole 6, I'll be 29 when I get out. I'll still be young.
Right.
You got, no offense, you got a lot of real smart guys in there. So they're like encouraging you, like, yeah, you're not even gonna be that old, bro. You could do that on your head. Like,
right, yeah.
You start thinking about it, like, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Being in there, I had some good homeboys that I still talk to today and that grew up and take care of their kids, and they're good men.
Right.
Good Christian men like myself. Yeah. Because when you grow up in that life and you get older, you don't want to be in that life no more. You know what I mean? Like, you actually grow up. That's why it's called growing up. I said, when you grow up, you actually grow the fuck up.
Right.
It's not, you literally don't want to be a part of that life no more. It's not that you're scared of it. It's not that you're, like getting old. It's like, man, it gets old. You know what I mean? It gets old, man. It drains on you.
Right.
Looking over your shoulder, always strapped up, always, with people who you're going to get arrested with all the time. Mm-hmm. Because the way it works in San Antonio with the gang that I'm in, if there's 3 of y'all or more, it's organized crime right off the rip. Because why are y'all 3 all in the same gang, all hanging out right now?
Right.
Shit, you know what I mean? So
yeah. I wish sometimes I wish it was like that in New York. New York is so lenient; it's disgusting. They let people go for the small. It's just I'm sure you heard about the migrants that beat up the cops and they were out in 24 hours. It's just I can only imagine if that was Texas, right?
Yeah, Texas, we just put one in your ass. we just put. I'm a felon, so my felonies are so far now since I've committed one. I've been out of prison since 2012. I successfully discharged my parole in 15. And I say successful because a lot of motherfuckers They do the whole time, but they never get their successful completion paperwork from the state because they didn't pay all the fees, or they didn't do the classes, or they didn't do what the state asked them to do to get that certificate of
Mm-hmm.
successful completion. Me, I'm the type of motherfucker that likes to finish something when I started. It don't matter if it's parole. It don't matter if it's probation.
Right.
I want the certificate that says I am done.
Right.
I am
Right. Right. Right.
done. Leave me the fuck alone. So I paid all my fines. I did my time in 3 years. It's called a short way. So in Texas, it's almost like a mandatory release date. They're like, man, you've done half your time and you didn't even need to. You lost 3 of your paroles and you didn't even have to. You are fighting and you're doing this stuff and you don't have to. So we're going to give you your short way. And they tell you that. They take you in there and they're like, look, if you can just stay out of trouble for just a couple more months, we will let you out on your short way. And my mentality, I'm like, man, fuck that short way. I don't give a fuck about no short way, no long
No,
way.
man.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
give a fuck
Yeah.
about none of that because I'm still 20, I don't know, 25, 20, 25 years old, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
still stupid, bro. And my mentality at 25 was like, to me, like an 18-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was very immature. Gang banging was still number one,
Mm-hmm.
it was my family. My family didn't come visit me. I didn't really have a lot of people write me. I was a hustler. So I hustled in prison. I did parlays. I did gambling. I did knock. I did spades. You know what I mean? I would hook people up with diet advice. I tell them what to buy on commissary
Mm-hmm.
to help them get more gains because we didn't have protein powders. We didn't have none of that. We had tuna packs, sardines, bags of rice,
Right.
noodles. So if you want to eat something that's not going to be all fucking
Loaded.
sodium, water retention. When you get out of prison, you want to look good. Stax will hook you up with a nice, clean diet. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right. Right.
and I just hustled any way I could, man, just to make my ends. And I did, man. I did good while I was in prison, man. I worked in the kitchen. I got in a lot of fights and did a lot of seg time. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Just like I say, what's that one motivational? Les Brown, he says, it's a season. These are seasons. These are seasons, man. You know what I mean? You got broke seasons. You got seasons in seg. You got seasons where you're doing good and you're in ODR and you're at the top of your game and all the guards are cool with you and you ain't getting searched. You ain't getting fucked with. You know what I mean? Like there's seasons in prison. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, you got to get through them. You can't let prison break you, man. And that's where I built my mentality, man. My mentality is a no excuses, no breaks. You didn't make me, so you can't break me. I've sat 15 months in a hole, butt naked, throwing up on the floor, acting crazy, flooding fucking cells. I came back from that. I had to seek counseling, just see a psychiatrist before you come out into the world. And
what was the turning point? What was the final turning point where you were like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore.
oh man, it's pretty easy, man. My son.
Ah, okay. I knew you were going to say
Boy,
that.
I
Yeah.
got out of prison and I still didn't learn my lesson. I had an ankle monitor on. I couldn't leave my front yard. When you drive my house, though, I'd be puffed up. What's up?
Mm-hmm.
What's up? I was still that
Yeah.
stupid mentality. I was slipping my monitor off, going out and partying at night, and then slipping it back on before my PO would call in the morning. And I'd be like, I don't know why it went off. It's on my leg.
Right. Right.
But just scamming and scheming, and I was never really like a thief, like a scam like that. It
Mm-hmm.
was more of like trying to go around the laws and bend the rules. And when I found out I was going to have my son, I was only 3 months out. And I had met a girl, and I'd been locked up. So we did a lot of catching up.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, she had to deal with the wrath of Stax. She got pregnant quick, man. Within 2 months of being together, she was pregnant on that third month, and she was like, "Hey, you're gonna be a dad," and I'm like, "What?" And it was like, man, I can't wait. And I already knew it was a boy, man, because I remember as a kid asking for a boy, and I was like, man, he's gonna be just like his. And I remember like in my whole life, flashed before my eyes. My parents, how I grew up, no electricity sometimes, no food, no hot water, poor, all these things, having to struggle and trials and prison. And I mean, to be honest with you, I'm like, I don't want my son to ever have to shower with hundreds of naked men. I don't ever want
I
my
don't
son,
blame you. Yeah.
bro, like these are things going through my head. I'm like, I never want this for my son. And my dad taught me how to be the way I was. And that's the way, I mean, this shit went in my head so quick, bro.
Right.
It was like, I was just like my dad because my dad, so my son's going to be just like, I got to change who the fuck I am.
Right.
That's literally what happened, bro. And I promise you, my son's 11 years old now, and God has changed my life, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm still holy with some hood in me. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's always there. It never goes away.
It doesn't, bro.
But you just control it.
I try, man. I try. You know what I mean? And one thing about me is I'm so family oriented and I love my people, man. So if you're my people, I'll fucking die for you and I'll kill for you. You know what I mean?
It's always the guys that come from nothing that have that mentality, and that they cherish family and friends much more than people that grow up with a silver spoon in their mouth for some strange reason. Bro.
I may be some famous influencer, TikTok, whatever. I don't even do TikToks. That's somebody else doing it for me. That my permission. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a social media guy. I remodel homes. I build fences and decks and arbors and construction. And I started social media to get free supplements.
Yeah.
And now I have my own supplement line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I started to be sponsored and now I'm sponsoring athletes for my clothing, for my supplements.
That's fucking great, man.
It's a blessing, man. And I owe all the glory to God, man. And that's one of my t-shirts is God, glory in the gym. And that's something I'll never get rid of, bro.
I actually saw that. I was on your site before we started. I actually saw some of that. And I need a fucking sponsor. So if you're interested, let me know.
Let's go. You can't get my biceps.
All right. Now, here's the thing. You're a contractor. I come from a family of electrical contractors. My grandfather was an electrical contractor. My brothers were electrical contractor. I was an electrician. Now I work in the sewer in New York City, and I do this at night. And what's funny is the last video I saw of you, the last one I was watching over the weekend, and the first, I don't know, 20 minutes, you were working on a house. You had your crew, and you were working on a project. You're working on your house, and you said something that resonated with me. Because, I grew up in a blue collar world, and you said something where your old boss, when you had nothing to do, used to give you random things to do. Pick up the wood and put it over there. Pick up that wood and put over there. Yeah. And you didn't understand at the time why he was doing that. And what's so funny is that when I used to work for my brothers, or when I used to work for my father, or even when my brothers were slow or my father was slow, he had his best guys. He would do the same thing because he didn't want to lose them. They didn't want to lay them off. So they would have him come to the shop and clean up the shop. They would have him just pick up supplies. They would just have just anything to keep those guys around because they're good employees.
They're good hands. Yeah.
Good hands. And so you knew that they were good people and they were good workers so it's the mentality of the contractor where it's like, I don't want to afford to lose this guy. I can't lose this guy. It's better off that I keep him around just doing odd jobs, and then when the next job comes, boom, he's back on and he's too good.
100%. Yeah. So
how did you get into contracting? Because now you're a general contractor.
Yeah. So my dad has been doing it, since he was young, and he started a fence company when he was with my mom, and they were together. And me and my brothers would go out and work with him and dig holes. And back. This is back before nail guns were even invented.
Jesus.
You know what I mean? I tell people I used to be the fucking nail gun. Like I would hold the nails in my hand like a wad, and I would literally bam, bam, bam. I would feed a wad of nails, one finger, bam, bam, and I would do fucking whole apartment complexes, man, by hand. That's why I tell people my fucking forearm. And I've been lifting weights 22 years, and I've been a contractor for even longer. Like with my pops working, and when I say with my dad, it wasn't like most people work with. My dad's like, come on, motherfucker.
Right.
My dad was the same way I am, but there was no social media. My dad's a maniac, bro.
Yeah.
I love him to death, man. He's got one big heart, and he's got a lot of drive, and he did the best he could. He's a good man. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I tell people, like, one thing I've learned, and I've forgiven my parents for the way I grew up, because, who knows how they grew up? So what if the way they grew up was even worse than the way I grew up? It's like they did the best with what they could. You know what I mean? What they
Right.
had, what happened with life, and being, 38 years old and being a father. I got 4 kids and one on the way. And yeah, I understand. I mean, I
Congrats,
don't
man.
understand.
That's great.
Thank you, bro. I don't understand the drug part, but I've never had that addiction. But I am grateful for the way that I grew up, because now I use the way that I grew up as a guideline and an outline for the way I do not want my kids to ever grow up.
Mm-hmm.
So if I didn't ever know how to be a parent, I just do the opposite.
What
Like
you
my parents. And, I told my dad that before, being mad at him, and my pops knows I love him, man. I'm going to call him when I get off here, because whenever I talk about him, I
uh-huh.
call him. I call him, just because you never know, you know what I mean? So I call. If I say dad, if I say, hey, my dad, I would say, hey, I say, tell Siri to call my dad, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just because, you only got so much time, man.
Now,
And
yeah, I know. My father died in 2004. I was 27. So
you
yeah,
don't want to
believe me, I
be
know.
there being negative and angry, and shit happens. You either sit there and cry about it, or you fucking move forward, and you take it as a lesson learned, bro. And that's what
Right.
I did. A
So
lesson learned.
so you're a contractor, and then how did you decide to get into the fitness influencing world? Because all of a sudden you just blew up on the scene.
So believe it or not, man, I've been doing this 10 years.
Yeah, I know. 10 years to become an overnight success. I know. Same. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people, like
Same
I
thing with
really,
me. People are just starting to hear of me. I'm like, I've been doing this for 4 years already. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I started in 2000, I think 14. I got out of prison in 12. I started my company. I was working. I was strictly no social media, because I was the dope man my whole life.
Mhm.
So when you took pictures, we did this.
Right.
Saying, I'd always tell people, like, no picture. All these guys that are like, this is me in prison. And they're like, they got all, I don't have no fucking prison photos. I got out of prison and I shredded my prison ID. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? Like, I don't want memories. I didn't want memories. I didn't want to remember this. Like, me and my boys never took pictures. Like, what the fuck? Like, we just didn't do that. So when I got out, I wasn't really with the picture thing. But this employee, a buddy of mine now, really, really good friend, like a brother, my boy Sammy B, he was younger and he was more into like social media, and he knew he was, what do you call it? Like, with the times, you know what I mean?
Right.
I may have been young, bro, but I was old school. I'm old school. If you notice my YouTube, I got old school trucks, old school hot rods, old school. You know what I mean? I keep it old school, bro.
Right.
I listen to old school rock and roll, not this new bullshit. I mean, I'm old school. I may be 38, but I'm really like 58.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I grew up in the wrong times. But nevertheless, Sammy tells me, hey, man, you're pretty shredded. He's my employee. I hire him to work for me. You're pretty shredded, man. Like, you should do Instagram. And I knew what MySpace was,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
never heard of Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm not really with the pictures and all that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about Instagram, social media, none of that. I'm telling them, like, I don't care about none of that, bro. Like, this is what I care about: work, like, take care of my kid, because I was a single father at the time. Uh, so I'm raising my son on my own, and he's out there on the job sites with me, or he's with grandma or wherever. And yeah, so he's like, I'm buying supplements though, because I still train. I'm
Right.
literally so dedicated. Every time I go to prison, I go train. When I come out of prison, gym membership, straight to the gym, start training, back on my diet, back on my eating, because this is something that I've loved. It's a
Right.
passion of mine, and I like to look good. And
Yeah.
let's face it, bro, I was not ready to be the small guy again. So I was
Right.
like, fuck that, I'm getting big again. So I get out, and he tells me about Instagram, and I'm buying supplements. I'm spending $5 a month: vitamins, aminos, protein, food. I mean, it probably more than five. And he goes, well, man, you should do it, because you can get sponsored and get supplements for free. And it was like, free?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm making maybe $1,000 a week at this point.
Right.
Not a lot of money for running a business. I'm just and again,
Just
I'm
getting
grateful.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just getting started. I was so grateful, man, because I wasn't making 100 a day no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was making more than what I was. So nevertheless, he tells me that, and I'm like, what? What has sponsored me? And I knew like Kobe Bryant was sponsored.
Right.
All these you can get what? And then he's like, yeah, bro, people take pictures of themselves. And if they look good, other people like them. He explained it to me.
Right.
And I'm like, that's it. So he's like, yeah. And this was before iPhones were really, really good quality and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking become an Instagram. This was when they were called Instagram models.
Yeah.
Straight up. I was a bodybuilder, but I was also wanting to become this Instagram model. I wasn't gonna lie, I didn't have a whole neck piece,
Right.
no face tats. I was pretty clean cut. I had a comb over and stuff, but I still
Right.
was sleeved out and had some gang tats or whatever. I was still sleeved out, had my back done and everything. But nevertheless, the fucking dude tells me that. So I'm like, we're doing this shit. I go and spend $1,000 on a badass Sony camera.
Right.
And I'm gonna keep it real, bro. I didn't have a lot of money, but my boy smoked. So I was like, how about I just get you some kill and you just take pictures of me with this camera and I'll just exchange the weed for the pictures. It was a pretty good deal for me.
Right. Yeah.
And he thought it was a good deal for him. He wasn't even a photographer, but he'd get all stoned and be like, hold up. He would try to be artistic with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fuck it, bro. It worked because Joey Stax made a name for himself, man. I started looking at other influencers, obviously IG models, some of them being part of that company called Shreds a long time ago.
Oh yeah. That was at Joey Swole or something like that.
Joey Swole, he was somebody I was like, damn, that dude's swole as shit. His name's Joey.
Right.
My name's Joey.
Right.
People call me Stax. Why don't I just put Joey with my prison's name? He's Joey. I mean, it all went together so smooth.
Right.
That's how I came up with the Joey Stax, because Joseph is my real name. So I went with Joey, and then I put my prison name Stax on it, Joey Stax. You know what I mean? And
Right.
It was cool, man. I started running with it. I invested. I spent $1,000 on my camera. I'm buying, some smoke from my boy to take pics, and we're doing what we need to do on Instagram and starting to get likes and engagement. Now I start meeting higher up influencers, like a friend of a friend that he knew was a pretty well-known influencer. I'm not going to say his name because he's a fucking douchebag now.
I get you.
But I became friends with him, and he was my boy for like almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He got addicted to that meth, and
oh God,
he ended up robbing me for $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks, bro. This industry is cutthroat, bro.
Big time.
Cutthroat. I've had videographers over the first 5 years rob me for $30,000 worth of equipment, time, money, and we're talking about, I'm a hardworking construction blue collar guy.
Right. That's hard money you're coming by. Right. I get it.
Life savings type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I get it. I'm in the same boat, man. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. We don't blow money on dumb shit. Like,
right.
Well, I mean, I have actually, but
yeah. But when you work for it, it's like hard for it. It's different mentality is when it comes in fast. I'm
not a $500 a night dinner guy. I'm not I got too much to lose. I got my family. I'm trying to build generational wealth for my kids to be taken care of.
Sure.
I'm not fucking off on a Mercedes-Benz C-Class or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? An Audi R8 or a fucking Lambo. Like, I can afford it. But
you do got some dope trucks though, I gotta say. Because I'm like I said, I'm a blue collar guy too, so I like trucks.
All paid for, brother. All paid. No payments, diesels, my babies, man. And they're fucking tanks too, dog. 7.3. But yeah, man. So, I wanted something more for myself. I wanted to build a legacy for my son. And I saw Instagram, me making a name for myself, being a positive motivational influence would almost tell a story in itself for my son later on when people are like man, your dad, and I saw all this, brother. I saw
Hmm.
this 10 years ago. Before I met Rich Piana, who was an idol, bro. He was, man, he was the biggest inspiration in my life when I started this.
Yeah, he was definitely the guy who started that segment of what you're in now. There's no question about it. He was the guy that sparked that kind of side fitness world that doesn't fit exactly, but has a presence.
Yeah, and you know what I did, man? After I posted enough on Instagram, I I said, you know what? If I really want to get out there, I need to get out there. So I started paying money from my construction to pay my bills, get a plane ticket, get my video guy, and or pay a video guy and get a hotel and get tickets to expos.
Yeah.
And I started going as a spectator, walking around Dallas, Europa, Olympia, fucking LA Fit. I mean, every big expo you could think out, Joey Stax was walking around with the camera guy. And I was the
Hmm.
nobody.
Right.
I was the nobody, except I had some construction money and I invested all of my money. And when I say all of my money, bro, I mean like I went to Olympia with like $20 in my account that could I would go home with. I could spend this much on food. My bills were paid. I had to go home and make all the money for the next month's bills.
Right. 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 Right.
But I was here building this brand. I was here building my name. And I'm telling you, one person at a time, 10 people at a time, 20 people. People would come up to me because of my tattoos. People come up to me because of, a pretty boy look or whatever my look was at the time. And I was only about 165, 175 pounds.
Hmm.
And I was like, look, I'm 28 years old at this time. I felt like I had low T. I had taken pro hormones. I had taken SARMs. Keep it real. I've injected testosterone, but didn't know what I was doing when I did it.
Yeah.
So I basically shut my receptors off.
Mm.
So when I was younger,
We've all
and
done it. We've all done it, dude.
100%, I
We've
keep it
all
real,
done
man.
it.
I keep it real. People know my whole story. I'm
Yeah.
sponsored by a TRT clinic. You know what I mean? I keep it real, man. So what I did was I didn't want to get it from my friends. I didn't want to do it that way. This was the first time in my life where I really wanted to get results like these pro bodybuilders.
Right.
And I knew that those guys went to fucking doctors. I knew they got blood work.
Right.
I wanted to be one of the best of the best, so I had to do what the best of the best were doing, even if I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I went and got blood work, man. And sure enough, I had, at 28 years old, my peak of my testosterone, I was sitting around 400 tests.
Wow. Really?
And I looked
Wow.
phenomenal. I looked phenomenal, shredded, lean, but I just couldn't put on weight. I
Yeah.
just
That's low for that age.
for 28, yeah. So he was like, man, you need to be more around the 900s.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Where do I sign up? I got on HCG test and a Arimidex. And I just started with a basic cycle, man. I started doing 1 cc a week,
Right.
half a cc every 4 days.
Hmm.
Every 4 days, not every Monday, Friday, not every Tuesday, Saturday, every 4 days.
What's funny is that I go to I'm also sponsored by a TRT clinic. He's pretty much my only sponsor. I mean, I have a small clothing line sponsor, Jersey Alternative Medicine, and I did the same thing on my blood, and they told me the same thing. So split it up into the same thing. Well, half a
And it
cc
wasn't
twice.
about juicing. I just wanted to see what I could do. Now, to keep it real, let's fast forward.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
28, 29. I've been in the industry a couple of years. Man, I start in 2 months. I go from 165, 170 to about 185, 190.
Damn.
And
Yeah,
I'm fucking just shredded. I
yeah.
am just on test HCG and Arimidex.
Right.
Balancing my hormones, best thing I could ever do in my life.
Hmm.
Hands down. I wouldn't look this good at 38 years old if I never did it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Right.
Then boom, I kept doing it, man. I saw the results. And let me tell you, it's true what they say. When you see those fucking results, you're addicted.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
you're addicted.
Absolutely.
You're addicted to the result, and like Rich said, I was addicted to that pump. I
Oh
felt like
yeah.
a god. I would be in the gym. I would see myself getting bigger. I would just feel that pump, that blood. And I would just, man, I would listen to fucking Rich Piana. I would just watch his YouTubes. I wasn't too much of the crazy eater until I started watching him,
Mm,
and he got me to fucking eat. I was
yeah.
eating 8 fucking ounces of protein and 8 ounces of carbs every 3 hours
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
at 180. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. There was times I'd be like,
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been.
water. Yeah, I already know. Yeah, this is a bodybuilding world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But bro, I got up to at my peak, 230 pounds at 8%.
Wow. Damn,
Yeah,
that's big.
that was
That is
big
big.
as shit, bro. This
Because
was
I'm about 5'8", give or take, 5'7.5", 5'8", and the biggest I ever was 235.
yep.
And I remember that's a and I was I'm at maybe 200 pounds now.
My lower back, fucking man. I had to open up a massage clinic. I started my own massage clinic. I
Really?
hired, and I had a business for about almost 3 years with a massage clinic.
Really?
But yeah, man, I had one here in San Antonio. It did very well for itself, but the people that worked for me got real greedy and started doing under the table stuff. And I've had 7 companies. I got 5 now. I'll shut a motherfucking company down. You think I'm scared? I'll
Well, so
start.
so some companies, a lot of people don't realize some companies aren't meant to last a lifetime. You know?
As a businessman and entrepreneur, I've learned stress less. Stress less is a lot better than 60 grand, 100 grand.
Right, right, right,
In the end of the day, that 60 grand is going to kill you.
right,
That
right, right,
100
right.
grand is going to kill you. So, again, lessons learned, bro. And a lot of this came from the fitness industry, being who I am. And I'm sure you're going to get into a little bit more of that in here in a minute. I'll
Yeah,
let you do that. But, being a contractor, becoming an Instagram model, starting
right.
to invest into myself, going to expos, I started to build a name for myself, man. And I got sponsored by a pretty big, name brand out of California.
That's fantastic, man.
Everybody knows them, and we had a big ordeal. We had a big falling out. I just keep it real, man. I hate fake motherfuckers, and I can only, even if you're my friend or my boy, I can only be around fake for so long. So if my boys or future friends are watching this, I will be your friend as long as it takes to find out who the fuck you are. And then I will call
Right,
your fake ass out the second I get a chance, because that's just how I am, bro. Like, and
right,
trust me, before I put you on YouTube, if I even do and give you that pleasure, I'll check you in front of your face. You know what I
mm,
mean? And that's just how I am, man, because that's how I was raised. I'm also don't hang out with deadbeat dads. You know what I mean? Because I'm a good father. So I don't have friends and boys around me who are deadbeat dads. Because what the fuck kind of example of what I said with my morals and values all up here for myself and my kids and my family, but my boy, my brothers, I don't hold them to that same standard.
right,
So every man you see around me is a father or not a father. I
right.
will make them be a father, and they will not be around me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I am, man. I want every person around me to hold up that same morals and values, or you just won't be around me. I don't
Right.
steal. I don't rob for $99 programs. I don't try to bullshit people for $45 this, and you know what I mean. I work hard for a living. I know that God takes care of me, man, and He always has, and He always will.
That is
So
that's the perfect segue to what I'm going to ask you next. I
yeah.
think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what really made you over the top famous was when you called out Wes Watson. Am I accurate on that?
Nah, Wes
No.
Watson didn't really have that much clout. It was more when I pulled the knife on Big Girl.
Oh, well, the reason why I said that was because Wes
This one
Watson.
right here.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
famous. This shit's
yeah,
famous right here, bro. This right here is on T-shirts all around the world. The gold
yeah.
switchblade.
Oh shit, it's gold. That's actually pretty cool.
It's gold like the teeth. Look at
Yeah. Oh shit, yeah. But the reason why the Wes Watson video, because he's been getting a lot of shit where he charges insane amounts of money, for, I mean, 10 grand to
that.
come on your YouTube channel,
I
40,000.
almost paid it. I almost paid it.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we met, man. I like the guy's message. You know, it's a good message. If it didn't, follow up with a bunch of scams and bullshit.
Right.
Uh, I liked his message, man. I thought he was cool, but I'm not a stupid motherfucker, and I use Google. All you gotta
Yeah.
do is type in someone's first and last name and put scam behind it, and it's gonna tell you everything you need to know about this motherfucker.
Right.
And then that's what I did. I talked to him on FaceTimes. I did a couple like back messaging back and forth, asking questions. I almost gave him $7,500.
Wow.
Yeah, he talked to me in his Rolls Royce while somebody else was driving him around, like, "What's up, big dog? Like if you want to do this." And again, I just questioned what can this do? Because you got to understand, Wes Watson, when I called him out, he had about 185,000 followers. But once he realized that he was a nobody and he was sitting over here barking and talking all this shit to everybody, he started buying followers, bro. He started buying. He went in 3 months from 185 to 1.2 million.
Wow.
In 3 months. I mean, me and my videographer, we watched him like clockwork. We watched him and Big Girl. Big Girls, if you watch his YouTube will go from like almost 1 million subscribers, and in one day it'll drop hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it'll just go right back up to 900,000. But people who don't know what to look for. Like, is this page fake?
Right.
Well, let me tell you, if he has 1 million followers and he has 40 comments, but he has
exactly
50,000 likes,
right,
and that means he has no engagement. That means that his page is fake and he's buying his stuff. You have to look at real engagement in their interaction with fans. And that's why I answer all my fans. That's why I comment back to them. I take the time out of my day, man. I mean, I spend hours and days answering people because it's respect for respect, man.
Right.
You give me respect and you watch my video, I'm going to give you the same respect when I meet you. And I'm going to let you have as much time as you need to talk to me, give pictures. I'm also going to, answer any questions because I don't like to talk about a lot of past stuff just because it's the past. Those dudes are pussies and, they'll say the same thing about me. But at the end of the day, like, you talked a bunch of shit on camera and didn't do a bitch ass thing.
Right.
So how does people respect you? You're no gangster.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, bro, like, I knew Big Boy personally, and he was a snake. He was a snake, and he did a lot of people wrong that I knew. He robbed me for $3,500.
Damn, really? How did he wind up doing that?
Some street stuff.
Oh man.
He did me dirty. He did me dirty for $3,500. He was supposed to be my boy. We were supposed to do a friend-to-friend transaction, and he ended up taking my money and doing me dirty. And it just sucks, man, because you think you know someone, and they just want to use you for as much as they can get you for. And that's what Big Boy told other Straight Cartel members. I'm just going to use them, get all of his Texas fan base, and then, we'll see what happens with that. Well, it ended up backfiring me because I made him look like the biggest clowns in the industry. You know what I mean? And Wes Watson, I was talking to him, and this is the way God works, bro. I love the way God works. Wes Watson, I was talking to him. I was going to buy his program. I was unsure. What can this man with 180,000 followers, I was at 1.2 million. What can he at, a 185 offer me? I got a bigger network. My YouTube's bigger.
Right.
People already engage and interact with me by the thousands. So what can this guy offer? I'm a smart guy. I'm questioning what he's going to offer me. So what I do is Wes Watson does this thing. Client wins, and he posts all his clients who are winning, making money, right? So I just screenshot all their pages, and I go and I DM all of them. And I message them, "Hey, what's up, man? This is Joey Stax." They already know who I am.
Right.
"Man, Joey Stax, what's up, bro? Hey, I got a quick question for you." Yeah. And one of them was his main dude, Guerrero Fit.
Okay.
Guerrero Fit was his main guy. And that's the guy I messaged. And I said, "Hey, man, I just had a question. Like, you hired Wes. What did you get out of the program?" And he's like, "Well, man, like, I don't have as big as a fan base as you do. You really don't even need Wes."
Right. Yeah.
He's like, "You don't need Wes." He's like, He's gonna tell you to post more. He's gonna tell you to like, be this way and be that way. Because if you look, you can literally point out this guy, he was mentored by Wes Watson. This guy, he was mentored by Wes Watson.
Really?
You can see people on social media. I mean, I can. And they're like, are you done fucking wasting time? Are
Right.
you fucking motherfucking?
I gotcha.
They're little Wes Watsons. And I mean,
yeah.
And they got these stupid little spiels and like, whatever. I don't.
I didn't when when Wes
I don't
Watson
like people who do that, man. I'm sorry.
I don't blame you.
Just I'm not with this mentor bullshit era. Like these people are teaching you how to do what they do, and all they do is manipulate you out of $5 grand. And they're like, let me teach you what I know how to manipulate people out of making. And then you just give them a PDF that we tell you how to build, and you just shoot it to them. And then if you want to answer, you don't have to. You can be a complete douchebag like Wes and scare your clients away and just keep their money. That's what he does. He just sees how much disrespect you can take before you just say, fuck that $5 grand. Fuck that $10 grand. Fuck that. I mean, because me and you are men. Are you going to let another guy get on a Zoom call and talk to you the way Wes Watson talks?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what's funny, because when I was looking into him and I saw those videos of footage and whatnot and him telling guys to shut the fuck, and I'm like, really?
I'll fly down to Florida and I will slap the fucking piss out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you disrespect me like that, and if I don't do it, best believe, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna be disrespecting a mother grown ass man.
Yeah.
You disrespected me like that. And again, he didn't disrespect me like that at all. He was very respectful. He was trying to get my money. He was trying to hustle me. And honestly, here's the twist. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Wes would have treated me with way more respect than any of these other people.
Definitely.
Because I was higher already in social media than he was.
Right.
So he wanted to bring me in, fly me down there, kind of, hey, me and my boy Joey Stax.
Right.
Let's go. He's part of Wes Watson Fit. We're getting him right. And da-da-da-da-da. And I mean, dude, I'm not going to lie. I could have probably became a millionaire in the next couple months. But I believe in doing the right thing. So I passed all that up, man. Trust me, right now, I could probably still go work with Wes Watson, because he would be, what he says, he's a businessman.
Right.
So he would wash all the shit that we did just to get me over there, just to be like, haha, I told y'all.
Right.
Stax are together now. And again, I would never do that. There's no price you could ever buy Stax, because I'm a Christian man and I'm a godly man and I'm a family man. So to me, selling my soul for X amount of money to make myself, my legacy and everything I've worked so hard to build, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I couldn't put a price. You couldn't give me $10 million to go sit down with Wes Watson and start working on programs. And that's on God. I wouldn't take $10 million today to go work with Wes Watson tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just because I believe in the way of the world.
Yeah.
What goes around comes around. And it may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But, money doesn't buy happiness, brother. I've had money.
I couldn't agree more, man. I can't work with people that I don't trust. That I can't work with people that I see don't act right, that are disrespectful, that take advantage of people. I just walk away from you. I can't do it. I can't.
You are who you associate with.
Right.
No matter how much you want to hear that, no matter how much I tell people, like when I was walking around with the fake cartel, I was them and they were me, because we were all walking around together, which means that I believe in everything they believe to the other people.
Right.
Because they see me with them and they're like, well, if this guy is doing this, then that means Stax is condoning it.
No, 100%. It absolutely. Like if you see 10 Hell's Angels, you think they're all the same because they're Hell's Angels, right? It's the God's honest truth. You see a group of people that belong to the same club or whatever the case may be, you think they're all They were all the same. 100%. You couldn't. And then the only way
Guilty
to,
by association.
that's
You
it.
know?
Oh, 100%. You couldn't
Guilty
be
by
more.
association.
So,
And
I just want to ask you one more thing. This whole, I know this is beating a dead horse, but I really wanted your opinion on it.
nah, you good. You good.
This whole Mike Van Wyck thing. I know you had some words with him at the Olympia. Then he goes around and I mean, I don't know who's worse, Mike Van Wyck. And I had Mike Van Wyck on my show. I
Mhm.
did interview him. It was a good interview. We were cool, but this was kind of before he was Fuad and he was just blowing up. And but I don't know who acted worse, Mike Van Wyck or Jeff Nippard, because Jeff Nippard afterwards getting shoved, going to the cops and going to the hospital and making like,
So
what's your take on it?
yeah, and I mean it's pretty simple, bro. Where I come from, you don't get no points for picking on no one smaller than you. And
Right.
that's the only way I can say, like, the smaller dude, he goes after the bigger dude. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying? And he gets the points.
Right. You're
But,
you're 100% right. Yeah.
but the big dude with the small dude, all the other dudes look at him like, what the fuck you doing, bro?
Right.
You don't get no credit for that. Matter of fact, I kind of want to look at you because you like to pick on little motherfuckers. Come pick on me,
Right.
motherfucker.
Right.
You
Right.
know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I got something for you, Mike Van Wick. Bam. You know what I mean? Just like I had Big Girl. Because it didn't say that we had to fight fair. I didn't call you to a fair duel. We're in
Right.
the this is streets, homie. We're in the gym. Like, people best believe, bro, and trust me, I've never had anyone. There may be keyboard warriors. There may be people that run their mouth all over social media, but not one time in 10 years has anyone had the fucking balls to even get this close
Right. Right.
to
Right.
my
Right.
face. And with any disrespect, the closest person was Big Girl, and that motherfucker was 20 feet away screaming, knife! He's got a knife!
Right.
He's
Right. Right.
This is the street. So with Mike Van Wyck and Jeff, ah, we're in a new era, bro. Everyone calls the cops.
I know.
Get used to it.
Yeah.
The bully, guess what? The bully, he goes to jail.
Yeah.
So, and this, trust me, I know because I told you that story about my dumbass getting out of prison and
Mm-hmm.
fighting people where I go. I didn't get to go around town bragging about it. I went fucking to jail.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He went back to
Fucking
jail.
And you know what? I went to jail and I was still so stubborn. I was like, got that motherfucker. Got
Right.
his ass. 9 months, it was worth it. I tell you what, bro, I got out of jail. I saw that motherfucker at the gas station, and my dumb ass still wanted to fight him again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It took my son to make me grow the fuck up. And with Mike and Jeff, like I said, we're in a new era. Like Jeff, he sounds like a little fruity.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You know what the fuck? That's one thing. He's 185 pounds, 5'6" or 3 or whatever.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get no points for that, Mike. You're 100 pounds over this kid. You know what I mean? Like you should have just laughed at the kid. He's a keyboard troll. You said some shit. You opened your mouth. He said some shit. He opened his mouth. Really, no harm, no foul, except for a bunch of shit talking. Where I come from, this is a free country. You can say whatever you want, but you could also slap the shit out of a motherfucker if you're willing to pay the consequences.
Right.
So, let me just say this, rewind back to Olympia. When I flipped the fuck out on Mike and his little boy, I was ready to fucking go to jail because I was in this mode where it was like, I told my video guy, I blacked the fuck out. I don't remember any of that.
Right.
I don't remember any of that because you threatened my friend Eric's family. At first, it was like, what's up? You threatened my boy, but then you go and say his address to his mom's house.
Really?
You say to if you go watch the video, he goes, I have your mom's address. And he says my boy Eric's mom's address in New York. And then he says my friend Tanner's grandma's address in wherever they were from. So, bro, it took me about 2 fucking seconds to get blood boiled up. And
I didn't. Yeah, that's a piece of shit move. I did not know that. I didn't know that.
They bleeped it out, but you can go and check now because he goes, because I go up and talk shit. And when I go up and talk shit, the dude quickly goes away from me and tells him, hey, I got your mom's address and I got your grandma's address. And I'm like, oh, really, motherfucker? You want to play that? So I just went from 0 to 100. And I'm like, I got your motherfucking address too, motherfucker. And that's where you see me escalate. And that's where you see me. And Mike Van Wyck, he knows who the fuck I am.
Oh
He
yeah.
knows I pulled that knife on Big Girl. So he's trying to pull his fucking little scary ass friend out of there before Joey Stax flips the fuck out. And sure enough, you saw Mike's energy. He was like, look, man,
Right. Right.
I don't
I
want, and I didn't know who Mike was. I heard he was Drake's old bodyguard.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah, so what? Drake's a pussy. So what the fuck? Like, how much drama did Mike have with Drake? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, to me, bro, Mike, man, with the lisp and everything, like, I kind of feel sorry for the guy. He's like an old man, like trying to be a social media influencer. And he's like coming in way late with his head all tatted, like he's wicked. And everyone knows you. Like, we know your backstory. You're not wicked at all. You're not any of that. You ain't been to prison. You were a bodybuilder who got a bunch of tattoos.
Right.
Now you're trying to act like a tough guy. Like, if you look at Mike Van Wyck's story, there's no tough guy in that.
No, we talked about bodybuilding. That's all when I interviewed him, I talked about body. We didn't not nearly an interview like this. It
And
was
with
just
all due respect, bro, like, I know Mike used to compete and everything, but like, if that dude took his shirt off right now, he'd be a flabby ass old man. He would be a fat, flabby old man with some saggy boobs and some stomach fat, no six pack. So like, you gotta shut the fuck up in this industry unless you can take your shirt off.
That whole family thing, that the mom's address, the grandma. That's you don't.
That was Mike Van Wyck's little crash dummy, and that guy regretted that shit so bad. I was getting messages from his friends and family, quote unquote, on my email, begging me to take the video down because he was going to commit suicide and
Oh, wait,
all this.
Mike Van Wyck didn't do that? A friend of his did that?
Yeah,
With
it was
the
his
address?
friend that was with him. He was trying to act like he was mafia from Jersey.
Oh
He was
my
like,
God.
he was like, he was like, you know what we do? I mean, he had the accent. He was like, I love prison. I love to go to prison. All my friends are in prison. And we're like, well, if you love prison, you're a weird motherfucker. You must be, like guys.
Bro,
Because
I grew up in Brooklyn and I live in Jersey now, and I could tell you that the Italian mafia is nothing like it used to be. It's nothing. And I know this firsthand. There is a no kill law in the street because nobody wants to do time. So there is no
just draw heat on everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
if everybody's got a bunch of money coming in from all these different things, avenues, and then you go and fucking kill someone, you just made the whole block hot. We're gonna put a bullet in your motherfucking head.
Yeah, it's yeah.
That's the way the streets work, man.
They don't today. They don't. They do. They don't want to do football. Whatever's left, they don't want to do what they refer to as football numbers. 20, 30 years. They'll do 5 years for gambling, 10 years for loan sharking. All right, but they're not going to do 20, 30 years because that's what creates snitches, and then you get it. You're not able to be with your family and so on and so forth. So
yeah,
whatever's left, there is no.
Well, that
killing.
goes back to the old days when they said no drugs, man, because that's what was in the heavy time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what really crumbled the Italian mafia was the drugs.
And a lot of them have legit businesses. So anybody who like talks tough like that, I live right in the middle of it, and it's not like it used to be at all, man.
When you're a murderer, you don't go around, bro. I've done time with murderers.
Right.
I've sat down and had coffee with murderers every day for years. You know what I mean? Like they just killed someone. It's not like they're just this rabid fucking Charles Manson eating your face off. Right. You know what I mean? Like this guy was talking about him like he was in the mafia, like he was gonna get some. And I mean, to me, I'm like, bro, murderers don't go around talking about being murderers. Even if they were acquitted, they wouldn't talk about it. You know why? Right. They don't want to go to prison for murder. You would shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, but I just knew all these things, and it all registered. This is a punk ass kid at the expo. I didn't know who Mike was. I didn't care. I knew I was at an expo with a bunch of fucking pansies, and I know I'm not.
Right.
So I wasn't fucking worried about what was going to happen, even though that's stupid for me to say because I have so much to lose, bro.
Right.
And I'm just lucky that I have God on my side. because after the Mike Van Wyck thing, the Wes Watson was first, then the Mike Van Wyck. Well, first it was Big Girl and the Fake Cartel. Negative. That's the only time I started getting negative trolls was after I broke up with them and stopped being with them. Then I called out Wes Watson because he started working with the Fake Cartel, so I knew they were scamming together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then the Mike thing happened. I didn't even mean for that to happen. I was just trying to stick up for my friend Eric, and I got myself into the mix. You know what I mean? And after that video, bro, I went home because I don't know if you watched the whole video. I got surrounded by cops afterwards.
Yeah, and then you were escorted
and
out.
I was like, what? Nothing happened? I had to play it all like I wasn't doing nothing. I was fucked, bro. I was gonna whatever. I was gonna fake it till I made it, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I don't blame it.
And when I left, they fucking followed me out on those little tricycles.
Oh,
and they fucking said, hey, don't come back. And I was like, fuck you, I'm catching a flight, motherfucker. I'm out of here. Like, I'm going back to Texas. But me seeing that and then all the attention that got, bro, it just made me realize, man, it made me take a step back. And that was my last expo 2 years ago that I did. That was the last one I went to, man. And I stepped back, man. I got too much to lose, man. I came back. I started being a more present father, even though I still was. I just quit expos. I had another baby girl. Now I'm about to have a son. You know,
you're a hell of a contractor, man. That much I could tell. When I watched the videos of you working on the houses and whatnot, and I
take pride in what I do, man. I got to tell people I'm a man of integrity, and a lot of people don't have that no more. And I take pride in having integrity, knowing that God's watching me, knowing that if I tell a customer I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I love to see a finished product. I love to work and build. And I tell people Jesus was a carpenter.
That's the truth.
I can't get closer to being a man of God without working with my hands, right?
Right.
So and weights are a passion. And then once I started seeing how many people's lives I was changing with my network and how many people were motivated because they saw a blue-collar, hardworking motherfucker out here working and still going to the gym, still going to being a dad, still doing all this extra. But I got 5 companies now. So I stay busy.
You know, what's funny is all the lessons that we've known for thousands of years that men are supposed to do: be responsible, be providers, be protectors, right? It all comes back full circle, and that's what you wind up doing because that's what makes you a man.
Honestly, man, I wake up every day and people are like, why do you still do contracting? Like, you don't even got to do that no more. You can just do YouTube. Or I was like, bro, if I wasn't supposed to do contracting, then God wouldn't be having me a job to do.
Right.
I wouldn't have work. I wouldn't have another job. I wouldn't be making thousands of dollars doing this, because I would quit. And I built this thing for 14 years. My company, I've had 14 years.
Right.
So it's like, why the fuck would I quit now? I'm sorry, 13 years. But like, why would I quit now when I built this? If anything, I'm going to sell this motherfucker.
Right.
I'm not going to quit. So I just keep, like I say, man, I wake up. I'm grateful for every day that I wake up and I put my boots on and I film it, man. You know, I pay my video guy a pretty hefty amount to be full-time and follow me. So that way I could just continue to spread and share motivation of like the real life, bro. I'm tired of fucking fake. I'm tired of smoke and mirrors. I'm tired of Bugattis, Lamborghinis.
That's right.
All this bullshit that these people are feeding people. I say, look, I just said in my last YouTube, if they don't show you the hard work, they're not fucking doing it. And that's the bottom line. And I show you the hard work. I show you the wake up, go to work, go home, kiss my kids before I go to the gym, get my gym bag ready, go to the gym, come back home, still haven't had dinner. You know what I mean? Still just grinding on a podcast, trying to make a legacy for my kids. Just continuously grinding. Why? Because this is what everyone needs to see. This is real fucking life. This is what people can really, truly relate to. Me and you, not all this extra. You know what I mean?
I agree 100%, man. And then the blue and I can't stress it enough. And you said it so eloquently. Blue collar guys get no respect, but they have the most respect in the work that they do. Without blue collar people, you would be in living in a world of nothing. I mean, 8 hours a day, I am underneath New York City in the sewer. But if it wasn't for guys like me, you wouldn't be able to take a shit.
The fucking whole place would be flooded with shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and again, but there's a special place for people like us. You know what I mean? And not the special place that Wes Watson and Big Girl and all them are going. That's a whole different special place.
Right.
We're going to a different place, brother. And this isn't the last place. You know what I mean? I tell people, I know that everything I'm doing on this planet and everything I'm doing on this earth is what I'm supposed to be doing. I wouldn't be doing it.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't feel this way if I wasn't supposed to feel this way.
Right.
I know that I'm a man of God. Whether people get mad that I check somebody, people say that I check old people. Describe old. You know what I mean? Because it's not an old man in a wheelchair. He might have been my age. He might have been a little older, but don't run your mouth if you're not ready to back it up. Me, right. I'm ready to back it up. I mean, sometimes I get myself in a little bit of a situation where I could probably have to beat somebody's ass and I'll go to jail. But I know I got myself in that situation. So when that season comes, I'll be ready to handle it. Right. Because I made my bed, so I know how to sleep in that motherfucker. Yeah. And that's the bottom line, man. People get mad at my videos. People get mad at Joey goes in here and disrespects people. No. Joey went in with all the respect. It says respect right here on my fucking forehead. Right. And I tell people, I give you so much respect. I open the door. I say, excuse me. Right. I say, me. I say, thank you. I'm a well-mannered individual, very respectful. But I also ask for the same respect in return.
Of course.
So it's like, if you're disrespectful, I'll kind of let some of it go for a split second. But the only people that I have patience for on this planet are the little people. And that's probably about 13 years old and younger.
Right, you know? Right.
And then you get 14, you get a little bit less patience.
Yeah.
14, you get less patience because you can act accordingly. And then 18 and up, what's up, baby? Yeah. What you want to do? I'll slap the shit out of you. We can squabble out here. I mean, again, I live in Texas, so I know there's always a possibility I'm going to get drawn down on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
I know what I don't write checks that my ass can't cash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I got the Lord on my side. So, you know, I know that he knows I'm not out here doing things for the wrong. Some people get paid to do jobs and they don't fucking do them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like maybe I could be nice enough to tell you to do your fucking job. Right. Or I will check the shit out of you and it will make you look bad on camera and I'll get a lot of views.
Right. You know, either way it works. Right.
Either way, you know, and other people are like, you're a piece of shit. You're a bully. Bully. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not trying to fight nobody. I'm just telling them, do your fucking job. Don't disrespect somebody if you're not ready to do nothing about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's pretty common sense stuff, man.
Right. And, so what kind of you have? So you have a supplement company, you have a clothing line, you're a contractor.
So I have a fence in custom fence, cedar deck. We don't do no treated bullshit. We just do cedar custom, pergolas, arbors, all custom cedar stuff. And then I have a GC company. We do remodels, bathrooms, kitchens. I don't post a lot of that company because I have so many haters that came out when I posted my fence and cedar and deck company. Mm-hmm. That they've made a bad Yelp. They've made all these reviews up and they've done all this. Good thing that company is word of mouth for 13 years. Mm. So I don't have to worry about Google or none of that. It's just established. But the other company I refuse to put up just because I'm not ready to have them badmouth my company and, put shame on it just because they're mad that Joey Stax has got 20-inch biceps and they don't. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just haters, bro. And for me, Rich was one of the biggest people that helped me understand the haters because I don't know if you knew this, but Rich Piana was, I told you, like my idol. Mm-hmm. And then I got with the Fake Cartel. Well, the Fake Cartel was with Rich Piana and they did him dirty. He
Yeah.
did him
Okay.
dirty like in the streets, and he did him dirty in the industry.
Really?
Big Boy kicked in Rich Piana's house, tied up the babysitter, the
God
uh,
damn.
Rob. Yeah, go check out John Bravo's.
Yeah, I watch him all the time. Yeah.
John Bravo's a good friend of mine, man, and he's like a brother, man. Him and Eric, uh, good friends of mine, man. And like I said, yeah, I told you what I do for good friends.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, man, he did a video and he explained what Big Boy did, and I didn't know any of this, man. And I knew my life wasn't in danger because Big Boy's a fucking pussy from San Clemente. He was not about shit. He's
Right.
a Hollywood gangster. But a lot of people are scared by this fool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he got all his tattoos in the world. He's not in a gang. He's not anything. He's some rich kid who's got tattoos and he acts tough and he's not. And he
Right.
knew he wasn't. So he went and got boxing lessons because
Yeah.
he knew
Yeah.
that somebody could knock my ass out any day. I don't even know how to fight. But he went
Yeah.
and got boxing lessons. That's why he did that,
Yeah.
because he didn't even know how to fight. But nevertheless, that right there with Rich Piana, Big Boy was in my ear because he knew I liked Rich. So I trusted Big Boy, and he was like, man, fuck Rich, man. He did me wrong. He told me all these lies about Rich. So he almost took away someone who I idolized, right?
Mm.
And made me think that this dude was a piece of shit. And yeah, he wasn't. Big Boy
Yeah.
was the piece of shit. So now I got to kind of like, man, Rich, like I said, man, Rich, when I watch stuff about Rich, it just is like it was meant for me to watch again. I've seen it. I have his videos saved. I watch him while I train. I pick up a lot of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people tell me, man, you're like the next Rich Piana, man. You're out there doing Rich's unfinished, what they tell me?
Unfinished business.
You're doing Rich's unfinished business, Stax. That's exactly what they tell me. Yeah, bro. Even before I started my supplement company, they approached me and they wanted me to come and be like with them, like be like
Really?
the 5%. Yeah, man.
That would have been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been, man, but it just wasn't for me. Mine was Stax Supplements, and that's
Right.
my supplement company, Stax Supplements.
Where can you find your clothing line and your supplement line?
So everything's at staxarmy.com and also
Staxarmy.com.
staxsupplements.com.
Stax supplement. That's one X, right? Stax supplements.
Yeah, STAX supplements.com, 1X, and then Stax Army 1X.
All right. I'm going to make sure both of those are in the description area so people could just click and go.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And Stax, listen, man, it was an honor having you on, brother. Really. It was a tremendous interview. Much love, much respect always. And I have a feeling you're going to be back on here.
Let's go, man. We got to get me and you and Lee Priest on one.
You know what? I'll definitely, because Lee is going to be a regular now. I spoke to him last week. So what we do
he's
is
like an icon for me, man. He's
all right.
Someone I really, really looked up to when I was starting bodybuilding before Rich, when I was looking at magazines, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was 16 years old, Rich wasn't even out yet.
Yeah.
It was Flex Lewis, Lee Priest. Yeah. It was all the shorter dudes like us.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying to get fucking yoked like them. And Lee was like fucking iconic. His legs, his body. I mean, he was just
He was insane. Genetic freak. He used to get so fat in the offseason before you knew it. He was in shape for a show.
It's crazy as I can eat like Lee says and still be shredded and get big.
Yeah, you just got like those genetics, yeah.
My genetics, yeah. My metabolism. Like I had McDonald's and fries before my workout today.
So I have Lee. Lee usually comes on every Wednesday night. We do this thing called Muscle Talk. So tomorrow the guys are already set to go. So I'm gonna hit you up during the week, and if you have time, because I do all my stuff at 8:30 Eastern because I work during the day. Yeah. So maybe next week I could have you on with Lee, and I'll see who else we could put together. Usually I have a bunch of pro bodybuilders on. We talk bodybuilding. When Lee's on, it's impossible to talk about anything but Lee. So, you know. Well, listen, brother, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll be in touch, definitely. Have a good night, brother.
My man. I appreciate everything, brother. You have a good night.
Later, bro.